Good afternoon. We are here from Battle of the All-Stars 2020 with yet another very exciting game for you this afternoon. I am Be Nimble. I'm here with Dethnella. I'm super excited to call with you.
I'm so pumped.
Yes, we have Maine versus Saskatchewan for the 15th place placement, I guess, in this Battle of the All-Stars tournament.
Definitely, and I know you're going to explain the road that Maine took to get here. I'll just do a very quick rundown for Team Sask. Started things off bright and early, first day of BOTAS, with a matchup against Ohio, an incredibly close game.
Yeah.
Lost out to that one, so then took on Maryland that same day, won that one. Maryland remains right now the only BOTAS team Saskatchewan has ever beat. We have only been playing in the tournament for 3 years, with 3 consecutive years, the only Canadian representation. So props to Team Sask. That is my hometown, my home province anyway, as well. And then, of course, they played this morning in their third bout of 40-minute tilt against, it's going to come to me.
Louisiana?
Yes, that's the one. Thank you. And then now we're here. They did lose that game to Louisiana, but once again, another close one. It came down really to the last jam.
Yeah, well, yes, it really did. I was on camera for that. We've been kind of Jackson Jills and whatever's of all trades here this weekend. So I'm going to go ahead. We have less than a minute until the jam starts our game off. I'm going to introduce Maine skaters for you. Number 19, La Vie and Rogue. Number 143, Stunflower. Number 1031, Dottie Danger. Number 1200, Tammy Gunn. Number 22, Hard Dash. Number 212, and the captain of Team Maine is Head of Flame. Number 31, Velocity Raptor. Number 39, Sketchy Lou Weasel. Number 491, and the MVP of the first game that Maine played today, yes, Jumpy McGee. Number 500, Beth Saltz. Number 60, Boudica. Number 8772, Hits and Giggles. Number 8915, Meowing Him Down. Number 9, T-Rex. Number 93, Crumb. And I'll get to the coaches a little bit later.
Sure, and we'll do a quick run through for Team Sask. Venus, Joe Means Joe, Scott Free, Skidlet, that's right, Skidlet is back and playing Coleshaw, Pterodactyl, Heaven's Reject, Rip, Nikki Fury, Nemesis, Amanda Destroyer, Holly, Double Thumper, Can Destroyer, Captain Melcree, Terralizer, Dame Tamer, Cindy Dropper, Reign of Terror, Lady Luck, Shell on Earth, and your coaches, well, they be Cakes and Mako.
So it shows on our scoreboard that we're ready to go. T-Rex is waving a little hello to me with those tiny T-Rex arms that I love so much.
There we go.
We're at the point now, right? This is both of these teams' last game of the tournament.
And I almost don't want to think about it because it seems wild to me. I woke up, I'm like, whoa, we're on day 3 already. And it could all be over, and I mean that's the feeling.
It will all be over someday.
It will all be over.
But in the meantime, we'll have a great game here between these two green and white and black teams. They kind of share a similar color scheme here.
It will be Team Saskatchewan in white, not
That's
the traditional green. And Team Maine in black. And Coleshaw will wear the Prairie Lily on her helmet to start things off for Team Sask.
And it's going to be Hard Dash, a familiar jammer for Team Maine so far this tournament. And here we go.
Hard Dash out really quick, but Coleshaw right behind.
Yeah, just a whisper behind. It's like they could be having a very quiet conversation together, but Dash kind of doing some jukey moves to try and throw Coleshaw off.
Yeah, Coleshaw is an incredibly great blocker as well, and I know people are going, what? We didn't even get a chance to see her block. Yes, wow, Saskatchewan sneaking in a point there as Hard Dash calls it off. Just a little too late.
A whisper too late. That's the theme so far in the first minute of this bout.
Just a careless whisper too late.
One of my friends recently said that they were going to get a cat and name it Careless Whiskers.
Oh my.
Pretty that would be, you know what, that would be a good derby name. Yeah.
Yep. But we've already got ours B, unfortunately. But
yes,
we're going into jam number 2.
Dottie Danger on the line for Team Maine. Dottie Danger did jam yesterday, did not jam this morning for Team Maine.
Meanwhile, Joe Means Joe with the Prairie Lily for Team Sask not only picks up lead, but also jammed a lot in this morning's bout. Right now, pivot, Dame Tamer holding things down at the front, just slowing down Dottie enough.
Yeah, and Dottie's about a half a track behind Joe Means Joe What are you wooing? I missed it.
I'm just wooing at this amazing juking ability of Joe Means Joe, basically taking out a Maine blocker, but only because that blocker was going full in and Joe was able to sneak around.
And not to be outdone, Dottie Danger picks up speed and matches 3 points.
So right now, Saskatchewan and Maine both on the board, 4-3. Jam number 1. By the way, meant to remind everyone, we are now in 60 minutes play. Very exciting.
Yes.
Team Saskatchewan having played 2 half-hour bouts, or sorry, 1 half-hour bout and 2 40-minute bouts.
Same for Maine, and most people that are watching this probably are very familiar with Derby, but regular WFTDA rules are 60-minute games.
And Reina Terra out on her initial while Hits and Giggles actually grabs lead. It looks like there was a no-earned pass by Reina. Not sure if Maine knows they have lead. Oh, there we go.
Nicely done by Hits and Giggles to kind of survey the situation, figure it out. Fun fact is that Chad of Nerd Derby, who has been bringing us this lovely live
Incredible
broadcast,
stream.
is Hits and Giggles coach.
Oh, look at that.
That's right.
I know you guys are all a pocket full of awesome up in that part of the USA. We'll just take what we have in the middle of Canada and run with it.
Well, somebody said that this could be like the battle of like the coldest places. I was like, that sounds so exciting.
Yep, that would be very fair. We've got Hard Dash with the star for Maine. Skidlet now jamming for Team Saskatchewan. Skidlet being a phenomenal pivot jammer, although did have to take a seat in the last game for an egregious forearm call.
Oh, dear. And I was just going to say, we're more than 3 minutes in, and that's the first penalty being called. Hard Dash is your lead jammer for Maine on a scoring trip here.
I know Saskatchewan really wants to curb those penalties. They were hurt so bad. And there's 2 points there on the board for Team
There's
Sask.
a box.
And a box point.
So, again, Dash calling it off a little bit late, a whisper too late. So, hopefully they can fine-tune that.
Oh, look at that, B. We are now 7-7. We are tied.
A pair of sevens. Let me see. Okay. So we're running definitely a 3-jammer rotation, it would seem, between Dash, Giggles, and Dottie Danger, who is on the line right now.
And Team Sask right now is running a 4-jammer between Colshaw, who's out there, but once again following just shy, and the pack speeding up.
My goodness, every single jam so far has just been one jammer out and the other immediately following them. It's a foot race out there.
Ooh, I love it. Oh, bodies flying everywhere.
Dottie Danger almost ends up in the actual crowd. What are the points, though?
One way to crowd surf. Looks like 2 on the board for Team Saskatchewan.
And I think that there's some conferring going on. Of course, Dottie did sort of launch, so I'm guessing they had to confirm with the OPR.
Oh, so 2-2. We continue this tie game up to 9 apiece. 25 minutes, 21 seconds left on the game clock as we enter Jam 6.
Sparks and Rec, one of my team and league mates, says, oh, so it's going to be like that. And I'm assuming that's that back and forth that we're seeing so far.
I'm here for it, man.
Me too.
60 minutes of play like this, I would go for it.
I love a close game of anything. Hits and Giggles gets lead for Maine for the second time in a row.
And Joe Means Joe able to pick up her feet and get by on her initial, about a half track behind.
Yep, but Giggles they're going to try and pick off a couple of blockers for Giggles to duck around, and Giggles ducks around and picks up all 4.
There you go.
Well
Things
done.
are heating up. Maine now with the lead, 13-9. Maine over Saskatchewan.
Sometimes, Giggles has not jammed at all this tournament, and it's incredible when you've been watching people who've been playing so much what fresh legs will do.
Yep. It also throws people off because, of course, if Saskatchewan, and I know they have, watched a couple of Maine games, they're not as aware of Giggles' abilities.
True. They probably are aware of Hard Dash's abilities. Hard Dash is wearing the start for Maine.
And Reina Terra has the Prairie Lily on there as Amanda Stroyer and Terralizer trying to slow down Hard Dash, who can't be beat. Pterodactyl, though, offering up a little bit of a slowdown at the top of the pack as Reina still weaving through.
Yeah, Saskatchewan doing a nice job falling back, playing offense, trying to spring their jammer. Hard Dash able to make it around on the first scoring trip. Yes, she does. That's 4 points for Maine.
I'm wondering if Saskatchewan will start employing the star pass though, a little sooner, because some of the trouble that was happening in previous games were these multi-scoring trips through the pack for the other teams. Those were the difference makers in the final tally. So if they can kind of slow that down, it might be helpful.
Slow their roll. It was a similar story for Team Maine. This morning, Team Maine played Ohio, who Saskatchewan also played, but our goal was really to slow down Mikachu, right? Because if you can limit Mikachu to 4 points during a jam, that's great. But again, those multiple passes can be really challenging to overcome.
And in this case, Maine has now put on an additional 10 points. So we go into Jam 8, 19-9 for Maine over Saskatchewan. And it will be Skidlet with the star for Team Sask in white, and Dottie Danger wearing the star for the black team.
Yeah, Maine in black. And I know that they were probably pretty excited to wear black this afternoon. And it is a grind between the pivot and jam lines right now. Both teams just putting on a blocking clinic.
Yeah, that's Nikki Fury and Venus helping anchor their scot-free so that Dottie Danger is getting drawn back.
And what it also does is allows Skidlet to get out of the pack, get lead, is now on a scoring trip.
Yeah, coming up on Tammy Gunn there, who you may have heard calling a couple games. She's done a phenomenal job so far at BOTAS.
Yeah, I brought her into the fold, and I'm so happy that I did.
She did tell me that. So
she's had a great time.
And Skidlet calls it, freezes Tammy Gunn and your jammer Dottie Danger in the penalty box.
I didn't see what the penalty on Dottie Danger was. And at first I didn't know that Dottie was headed to the box, and so I was like, why are they calling it? She hasn't made her initial trip. But
that'd be a good time.
Yep. And so this will be a power start for Sask. For Sask.
It will be Coleshaw with the Prairie Lily, but Skidlet able to put 3 points up in that last effort and, of course, strategically freeze the jammer.
A nice running start for Coleshaw.
Trying to get around the outside, but then, of course, makes that room on the inside, and the power of Coleshaw. You cannot be denied.
No, and that was meowing him down, trying to lay the hit on Coleshaw. Meow has been primarily a jammer this weekend, but is a very strong blocker as well.
It's always great. That versatility can't be understated or can't be overstated enough. We have Tammy Gunn now rejoining the main line, but kind of, that was a smart play there, cutting open the path for Dottie Danger, who now is easily out through her initial.
And Dottie Danger, a really skilled veteran player, able to see that quick offense. What's happening?
We got a forearm call on Coleshaw right as Coach Cakes is telling her to call it. So Maine is going to run this with a full more than a minute left on the jam as Coleshaw takes a seat.
Right, nobody can call this off because both jammers have spent some time in the penalty box. Dottie Danger using her speed to try and get through a strong Saskatchewan wall.
We're seeing love for that O provided by Tammy Gunn on the stream. We'll get to that in the break, but wow, Dottie Danger coming up on Rip, an aged-up junior at her first BOTAS appearance, representing Team Saskatchewan and representing the misdemeanors as well, who she's played for, and the Smashers. I believe the Smashers for sure. JRDA.
And again, you know, these very veteran skaters that have the wherewithal to know the rule set and know that Dottie could come back in and then put one hand down, can come back in, and it wasn't a track cut. That was a really heads-up play by Dottie Danger.
And Coleshaw with her signature backward skating move. A gorgeous apex jump. Did it land? Is it good? I think Dottie Danger isn't sure, so to stay out of danger, pulling herself back around the pack as Coleshaw now re-engaging for points.
5 seconds left. Let's see how many more points could get picked up by either team.
Woo!
5 seconds yields 4 points for both sides.
Okay, are you telling me right now that we had a tie? We had a tie point game on that one, on that jam, 12-12. A huge effort, Maine 31, Saskatchewan 24. We'll be entering jam 10 with 19 minutes, 21 seconds on the clock as an official review has been called for Saskatchewan.
Oh, okay, so Saskatchewan is calling an official review. Then I like to shuffle through my brain and start to think about what it might be.
Very likely something to do with that jammer penalty, one would assume. But I don't want to. Yeah.
Can I guess?
Yes, please do.
I'm going to take a guess. So I think Dottie Danger might have put both of her hands out of bounds on the It was right after she came in out of the box, got hit to the outside. That's my guess. We'll see what they end up telling us. I like to sort of play a game with myself and see if I can figure out what the coaches are thinking. I
am being rather corrected on the stream. Not misdemeanors. Okay, my bad. I always associate Rip with that part of Saskatchewan, but Rip has really been a phenomenal addition to Team Sask right now. And just a big shout out to Spank Alley, the only fully adjustable roller derby armbands on the market. They also ship worldwide. You can check them out at www.spankalley.com.au.
And because the officials are still discussing what the outcome of this official review for Saskatchewan will be, I can tell you about 187 Killer pads. They've been designing and constructing pads for top professional athletes for the past decade. Started by a longtime skater in a family-owned upholstery shop, 187 Killer pads has since become the preferred choice of skaters worldwide. Follow them on Instagram or on the web at www.187killerpads.com.
And just because now I'm looking at where everyone is hailing from once again, Rip is from Weyburn Roller Derby Association. So is Heaven's Reject and Nikki Fury from Team Sask. Those are some solid OG players, except Rip, this is her first appearance. I know she's been having a great time and has been an incredible addition to the team. It's just so fun to hang out with all the skaters. I know that you're a big part of Team Maine as well.
Yeah, it really is. And a fun fact, so we saw Dottie Danger and Gunn sort of pairing up as a jammer offensive pair. And I drove down here with Dottie and Gunn in the same car. So,
fun.
You know, sometimes you get that bond and can carry it onto the track.
And we'll get to what just happened. All I can tell you right now is that OR was not retained. We are back into the action. Jam 10. Joe means Joe with the start for Sask. Hard Dash already with lead, already in scoring position. Able to take that inside lane, no problem.
Oh, yeah. And celebrating just a little bit is Dash on that apex jump and 4 points. Dash hasn't been feeling, she's had a cold this weekend, and so sometimes what is funny is when you're a jammer and you apex jump, just as we see, the relief is that you don't have to touch any blockers.
I know.
It's like,
and that's why when people say I'm a little afraid to jump, I'm like, really though? Because for me, grinding it out against those blockers, it's maybe not fear, but it's pain.
We have Crum on the line here for Maine for the first time in this particular bout.
And it's Raina Terror out with lead. Raina has been up and down throughout this in terms of getting lead, but man, oh man, whenever she does, she's been very effective for Team Saskatchewan.
And it was like a ballet move on the inside line.
I'm very reactive. I'm so sorry, but Pterodactyl taking a big hit, but doing so for the team.
Crum has removed the helmet cover at this point, is being recycled back into turn 2.
Cindy Dropper assessed a direction of play call. That's for Team Saskatchewan. Tammy Gunn as well sitting in the penalty box for Maine. So it's 3-on-3 in the pack as Raina Terror already puts up 4 points.
And Crum finally able to get out of the pack with
there we go.
With a little stash. What was there we go.
The big apex jump, but she has to call it, so I'm not sure if we even landed that. Oh, no, it was a wash on that last pass, but 4 points nonetheless for Team Sask, brings it to 35-28, Maine leading. I do want to go back to that OR really quickly. You were right, by the way. That was exactly what they were looking for. They were looking for a cut on Dottie Danger because of the 2 hands out and that didn't recycle, but that wasn't what happened, or perhaps it wasn't seen in the moment. And so here we are entering Jam 12.
And just to be clear, for that particular call, we have a very good vantage point. So, you know, it's easier said than done for what the officials do for this sport.
Meanwhile, Skidlet and Hits and Giggles are now okay, well, now Skidlet is turned and facing Hits and Giggles, asking to, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Well, you're gonna have to call it off. So another scoreless jam right there. Great effort. I mean, that's what Team Sask is gonna have to do anytime they aren't able to establish lead or get control of the game. got to force those quick call-offs.
And it really has been a trading points. It's been within 5, 6, 7 points this entire bout so far. You are getting some love on the Twitch feed from
you.
Momster. Is it your mom?
I don't know. I don't think so. But in the meantime, we've got Hard Dash doing what Hard Dash does best, which is get out fast with lead, and in this case up against Colshaw, who is definitely one of the strongest Team Sask jammers.
Yeah, this is a good matchup, I think, for Dash and Colshaw. They actually have very different styles. If Dash doesn't have that speed, sometimes she can struggle, where Colshaw, I feel like, can create just that momentum, that drive forward.
It's the most determined, one of the most determined skaters ever, just in terms of getting out there, pushing. Four more points on the board for Maine, so it's 39-28. A narrow lead of 11 points with 15 minutes, just over 15 minutes left in this first half.
It does feel longer, having done these 40-minute games. This half certainly does feel longer because it is, number one.
Oh, we got Momster is Rip's mom, so yay, love from Rip's mom.
Yay, Rip's mom. Okay, we have a slow-moving pack in between the jam and pivot line. Oh, Dottie Danger does a side surf off on one foot, checks herself out to make sure she's okay, maybe puts on some lipstick, and is now on a scoring trip.
Wasn't fazed at all by that. Oh, but a big blow up on Dame Tamer. And that was a high block call and a half there as Dame Tamer takes a big hit.
Yeah, that was something else. Dottie Danger coming in with speed, of course, and does a high block, essentially.
And Joe Means Joe now into the pack in scoring position at this point. The initial has been complete. Already picked up 4 points, actually. Wow, that was just so fast. And Tammy Gunn sent to the penalty box there for Maine on a forearm call.
And I think that's Tammy Gunn's third trip to the Apex penalty box. She sits down just as Dottie Danger is released for Maine.
Of course, now that we're back into regulation, every single skater gets 7 chances to take a seat in the penalty box before leaving the game. And Joe Means Joe picks up another 4.
We pick up a lead change.
Wow. Thank you for pointing that out,
welcome.
because I almost didn't even notice. Joe Means Joe putting in the work here. It's a huge one for Team Saskatchewan.
That's going to be 16 points so far on the board and still scoring with 15 seconds left.
Yeah,
so this could be a 20-point jam.
It will be now a 20-point jam. Huge for Joe.
Well done.
And Dame Tamer with a bit of a redemption shove there on Dottie, drawing her all the way back. And that was huge.
Yeah, it might not be. So there were some points in the pocket there for Maine, a couple, 2 points in the pocket. Maybe that will bring that to 6 for Maine.
So 22-point jam there for Joe Means Joe, which is the second highest single-point jam for Team Sask, as Colshaw nabbed a 24-pointer in the first game. A team timeout taken by Team Maine. I would say rightly so.
Yes.
This is a great time. Both teams before this had their 3 team timeouts still.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, if I was coaching Team Maine, and I'm not this year, but I have in the past, right now is when you call a timeout, you settle your bench down a little bit. Sometimes a big hit like that can get everybody amped up a little bit. Settle in. 22 points. It's 1 jam. Let's forget about it. Let's move forward. That's what I would say for Maine.
Yes, exactly. And you've got a 7-point difference. And, of course, for Team Sask, they run really well off momentum. So a timeout isn't necessarily ideal, but it is a chance to breathe. A little.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yes, and a reminder as well that we want to give a big shout-out to New England Roller Derby Report, who right now is doing the camera work. That's right, Chad Newt.
Chad is doing everything.
Absolutely everything. In fact, you're listening to Chad Newt right now, speaking to you.
Wow, that was really good. I did just hear that rounding whistle to get things back underway here after a team timeout is taken by Maine. I did want to mention before we get going, the bout that is coming up next is going to be New York and Florida. It's going to be so good.
It is going to get so hot up in here. It's ridiculous because the crowd is going to be jam-packed in. And as I say that, Jam 15 has started. Hits and Giggles, Reina Terror, but Reina being recycled to the back as Giggles is already out and now within scoring range. And Team Sask has to get together quick.
Sorry about that. A little bit of color is that Stunflower was playing offense for Hits and Giggles. They are sweethearts, so that this is kind of nice to see, helping each other out.
Lady Luck taking a bit of a spill there, but Lady Luck holding down her own there until, at least enough to get Reina out. So one trip through the pack, scoring trip through the pack for Maine. That's 4 more on the board. So now only a 3-point difference. Saskatchewan still in the lead, 50-47. You are joining this bout in progress. First half with 12 minutes, 13 seconds left. Woo, it's going to be a good one. We're getting lots of love on the stream comments for Dame. I agree, Dame is the Oak Queen, and that's saying something because she often jams back home. So to have her come out here and be such a strong force in the pack is great.
Let's Go Skidlet is up on the Twitch feed as well, so I'm guessing, and I am right, that Skidlet is your jammer of record for the team in white. That is Saskatchewan. The jammer for, this is going to be a track cut, yeah.
And Skidlet has gotten into a bit of jammer penalty trouble this tournament. So lots of learning lessons. I mean, that's why you come to BOTAS. You learn, you grow, you play new teams. We have a back block being called, I believe. I hear whistles blowing. Rather a high block, and that's on your Captain Melcree of Team Sask.
So Hard Dash on a power jam right here. Team Maine gets the pack kicked off, rather. Giving Hard Dash a little bit of momentum. Hard Dash looks back at the bench, says, do I call it? No, keep running it.
Yeah, because right now the lead has changed, but we'll get to that when things are called off and dealt with. Skidlet already out of the penalty box, getting drawn back there by Maine, coming back in on turn 3, right in front of that crowd, turn 4 rather.
Dash has 8 up on the board right now, and putting more up as we speak. That's 4 more. Multiplayer block on Sketchy Louisel sends her to the penalty box.
And we have really great track awareness by Skidlet. Seeing the no earned pass, able to get by and out on her initial, but Hard Dash putting up some big points for Maine. Calling it, getting by Terralizer there on the inside. Whoo, how things change so quickly. A massive 16-point jam. Maine in the lead, 63-50. Just over 10 minutes left on the game clock in this first half.
It certainly doesn't match the 22 points that were put on by...
That would be Joe Means Joe.
Joe Means Joe, but 16-0 to sneeze at. So Maine, again, retaking the lead. Assisted by a power jam, let's be honest.
But we have seen it time and time again where it hasn't made a difference. And now they're running on the momentum.
Yes, and Head of Flame has taken the star for Team Maine and is jamming for the first time in this tournament.
Coleshaw finding a sticky spot on the floor and taking a spill, but out on her initial. We do have an out-of-play penalty assessed to a Maine blocker, and Tammy Gunn taking another seat in there, and Coleshaw unable to get any points.
Yeah, Maine needs to clean up their blocker penalties. They have had a lot so far. It could end up affecting them really negatively on the points. So far, obviously they're in the lead by 15, but Tammy Gunn definitely has 4 already, and it's been a merry-go-round.
And we haven't even gotten through this first half of full 60-minute play. And we do want to give a shout out to Dame Tamer's daughter, who's playing in her first sanctioned game, JRDA, in Spokane right now. Meanwhile, Joe Means Joe able to get lead. That's a bit of a change of pace here for Team Sask. They needed that control again of the game.
Lightning Slim has put a curse on Sport Court on the Twitch feed here.
Joe Means Joe has 4. Looking, should I call it, decides to do that. Smart play. Doesn't make sense to run some of these long if you're just going to call it off anyway.
Yeah, and Hits and Giggles is, in my opinion, making Team Maine coaching staff maybe wonder why they hadn't jammed her in a couple of the bouts previously.
Yes.
Really doing a good job for jamming in this first, it's her first jamming bout. She's been blocking.
Now, we know we're seeing lots of questions here. We appreciate that, but some of it is technical. The most amazing Chad Newt is actually also camera opping right now, so any of those questions will be answered possibly at the halftime. But meanwhile, Jam 19, Reina Terror out about a quarter lap behind Hard Dash, who once again has grabbed lead. Oh, and that open inside lane, you can't do that.
No, Dash loves the inside line. You know, Saskatchewan might have a conversation about that at halftime and just say, listen, you know, when Dash is out there, we need to kind of overload to the inside, force her to take the out maybe a little less comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, what's great about that, though, is when you see someone continually take the same route, it's because it's been successful, and I always appreciate that a jammer won't just change up for the sake of change. If you got something that works, repetition, that is what Derby is about, especially when it's successful. We've got Head of Flame with the green star for Maine, although in black, and then the Prairie Lily is up top on Skidlet's helmet.
That's 2 for 2 for Head of Flame, the captain of Team Maine, also blocking for most of this weekend so far, but taking the helmet cover with the star on it for the second time. Looking to pick up some points on this scoring trip. Does a little turnaround move, taps the hips.
And gets
a couple.
Gets 2 points for Maine, and none on the board for Team Saskatchewan there.
It's 71 points for Maine right now to 54 for Saskatchewan. We have just about 6.5 minutes left in the first period of this game.
And we are going into jam number 21 in this 60-minute bout. For those who may be joining us, I know Team Saskatchewan fans have been waiting for a full Derby game here, but it's hits and giggles. Oh, coming up against Rip, getting an assist there, though, offensively.
That's Stunflower is giving the offensive assist. That's what I was saying, that these two are sweethearts. So it's very cute to see the offense jammer pairing between them.
Oh, and Lady Luck getting in the way, in the perfect way, rather, for Team Sask. Oh, Lady Luck definitely had something to say about Coleshaw getting through on that inside lane.
And Saskatchewan, that's a momentum for Saskatchewan right there. They needed to pick up lead, I feel like. 20 points or so scored by Maine.
Slicing through those arms. Coleshaw out with 4 points.
Hits and Giggles is having some trouble with that Saskatchewan pack, even with an offensive player helping her out.
Oh, but that was just enough confusion. Beautiful work getting by Rip. Not an easy thing to do. Coleshaw forced to call it off, but great work by Team Sask, putting 8 more points on the board. Still very close game. Maine 71, Saskatchewan 62 with just over 5 minutes left. I do want to once again give a shout out to Lady Luck. I found out Lady Luck has family roots in South Africa, and I'm South African, born and raised in Cape Town. And so I just want to say she's playing Bayaleka, and I'm sure she's very proud of that. So if her family's watching, I got you. I can feel that.
That's awesome.
And so here we start, jam number 22. Hard dash.
Yeah, again that inside line, but in the air on the inside line, an apex jump and a half a track behind is the Saskatchewan jammer. That's Reina Terror. Dash gonna try and pick up some points.
And maybe Saskatchewan heard you about that inside lane, because both Terror and Terralizer were all packed in there to slow it down.
And did it work?
It
did. Little bit.
It did. It stopped the the 4 point.
Right. Yeah, forced to hit it and quit it right there for Hard Dash and Team Maine.
An exact 10-point differential here.
I wonder if it'll go into halftime a tie.
Oh,
I don't know. Let's
I don't know.
see.
You're already 1 for 1 on guessing that official review. So.
One thing that I did, Head of Flame, 100%. That is keeping it 100 for Head of Flame on lead status. Nice job for Team Maine, quickly out of the pack.
And such a different style to Joe Means Joe, but Joe is doing well, except just as I say that, gets a track cut call. Those dang track cuts have been all the jammers' bane. Well, exciting news for Maine, though, is Head of Flame.
Yeah.
With a pretty clear path there, as Heaven's Reject is being goaded.
Totally. So we have 4 Maine blockers working together to keep one of the Saskatchewan blockers back. And they were all on the same page, right? Sometimes during those situations, some people are going to punch forward, but Team Maine was really...
Oh, there we see that beautiful dip around. Gorgeous work by Head of Flame. I mean, I know I'm here for Team Saskatchewan, and that's what I love about BOTAS is that teams typically have, you know, an announcer that's assigned to them. I'm, of course, from Saskatchewan, so it makes sense. But I'm also just here to praise good derby, and my goodness, we have gotten that tenfold.
And you know what else I love? So, you know, Meow Down had been a really prolific jammer for Team Maine earlier this weekend. Her body wasn't feeling up to jamming. And Woo! Team Maine has really answered for their teammate. They have sent people out who have done a phenomenal job jamming.
Oh, just great offensive work right there. But a no-earned pass, so lead is still up for grabs for Joe Means Joe, who's just been released from the penalty box, able to skirt around the outside. Should hopefully call it, but does call it off, but it does look like Maine picked up some points. A low block call assessed to Dame Tamer, however. Wait, and a jammer penalty.
Yeah,
I missed
no, that
then.
Was the low block. I think was on the jammer, but I do see the officials discussing something, and they are going to release Hits and Giggles, which I agree with that. That just shows how good this ref squad is, because I was going to say I don't think that was a low block on Hits and Giggles, which it wasn't.
Makes
and they
sense.
Fixed it.
And I also, for a second, I thought that the Dame Tamer incident may have been exactly related to that, so why would both players get a penalty in that instance? But here we go, an official review being called, a timely one, of course.
Yeah, and, you know, anytime a coach sees two officials with like maybe differing perspectives on a call, it can be a really opportune time to call an official review. So I'm not sure, but...
Oh, hey, and look at that. Even on the Twitch stream, people giving lots of love to the officials. We love them, too. I mean, I'm just in awe of just how much they put out there on the track. They are just go, 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 go. I know it might seem like announcers are, but we get to, like, sit down and jump up and be goofy and express
Rest
things.
on the laurels of our personalities, waves fan in face.
You know, make a mistake on the maths, and that's the way it is, but... they are really putting in the time.
T-Rex is sitting on the floor in sort of a T-Rex is a teacher, an elementary school teacher, so I'm feeling like this is how she talks to her students sometimes.
It'd be great.
But she's going to stand up, and Team Maine having a great time this weekend. A handful of wins, handful of losses. We were determined to return to Battle of the All-Stars this year. We didn't send a team last year, and it was a real goal for our state to put something together for this year, and we're just happy to be here.
Well, and I can tell you Team Saskatchewan is happy to play you because we don't make the travel. We don't do all of that for nothing. This is a big deal. 3 years in a row, the only Canadian representation, although that could be changing.
I think it will change.
Very exciting. Yeah, very soon. So, we'll rock the solo representation as it is. I do know that Team Sask also put together the most amazing goodie bags.
Really?
Of Canadian everything. Oh, hold on one second.
Okay, we're going to get the news on that official review right now. But we actually are so lucky. We have somebody that goes in and listens to the official review and then comes over and tells us what happened. And so that's what we're about to find out.
Yeah, you may have even kind of overheard it a little bit in my microphone. So interesting decision. Maine used their OR there to basically ask for what the officials had already done. As in, they wanted that jammer penalty reassessed, but the jammer had already been released. So a bit of an unfortunate decision because, of course, they got what they wanted, but they also, I don't know, I guess they do retain their OR in that case.
Because the action had already been conclusive.
Oh, but we have a forearm call on Skidlet, so it is a power jam for Maine.
I think is that the second power jam that Skidlet has given away in this bout?
In this bout, yes. And so Hard Dash apparently already has 4 points. Now coming up for another. We have a no-earned pass on the main skater, so that's 3 for that scoring trip through the pack.
Yep, because Hard Dash passed one of the blockers. They were both out of bounds, which is just no pass, no penalty. But Hard Dash, again, making quick work of the inside line, looking to the coach. Coach says run it. T-Rex also says run it, literally is running to play offense.
Yeah, and now we finally have Pack at full strength with that release. Skidlet moving laterally, trying to get by those blockers. So difficult. Dame also trying to provide some but it's just so hard to do that while also trying to prepare for Hard Dash, who is now in scoring range.
15 points so far and more on there for Hard Dash and Team Maine.
Very big jam for Maine. And that will certainly separate things here as we are winding down. Looks like we'll have one more jam because there's going to be about 2 more seconds left on the game clock there.
I think so.
We're at 95-62. Saskatchewan with 3 team timeouts still. Maine with 2 team timeouts and their OR.
And the story of this lead for Maine right now really is 2 big jams. Maine had 2 really big jams that have equaled about that 30-point range that is the difference between these 2 teams.
And you know what? That's been the story for Team Sask. They've allowed that, and it's just been pretty devastating. But that's why they're putting Colshaw out, not only to grab lead, but hopefully cut down that difference. But Head of Flame, come on.
Yeah, a nice little star stash there by Head of Flame in order to get to release herself from the pack, is now on a scoring trip, as is Colshaw. Head of Flame sneaking in.
And, you know, kudos to those Maine blockers who have separated the Team Sask wall that is so strong, so fortified when they're together, of Nemesis, Heaven's Reject, Scott Free, and Venus. And now they're kind of getting together for Head of Flame, but she's just too fast on the outside, so bench coach Cake says, run it, you might as well. It's now all jam clock.
And Saskatchewan is almost running sort of a power jam offense on that last pass for Colshaw and picks up 4.
We'll see that moment where Colshaw kind of breaks free. I love that she used Venus as like a push board there. That was great work. And it's that kind of derby IQ that comes with making it through the ranks as a junior skater, now putting in the time as a senior skater as well.
So one thing I just wanted to shout out is that I said earlier how Beth Seltz was on Team Greece, and I totally forgot to mention that Jumpy is one of the founders of Team Indigenous Roller Derby that did the incredible expo at the Champs this year with Team Jewish Roller Derby. So yes, you do see your Team Indigenous teammate Jumpy McGee. She is okay. We're at the half.
We are. That came up real quick. I'll just do a quick score wrap-up. Maine leading 103, Saskatchewan 12. A big last jam effort there by Colshaw, as you know her, for 12 points there, but Maine picking up 8 as well.
And I'm just going to really quickly again say thank you from New England Roller Derby Report to their production sponsor, Sociopath. Sociopath is a skater-run business offering size-inclusive leggings and shorts designed to fit you. With 7 different lengths and pockets, she is sure to have a style that works for your team. Your body, actually, but your team, too. Team colors, custom prints, and group discounts are available, also offering dozens of armband and helmet cover options. She's got you covered. See Sociopath at sociopath.ca/nerd for 10% off your order. We will be back for an exciting second half. welcome back to Battle of the All-Stars 2020. You are here with us for the second half of Team Maine versus Team Saskatchewan. Right now, coming out of the half, Maine sits at 103 points, Saskatchewan 74, but the score does not tell exactly how things have been. It has been really back and forth. This is the biggest lead I think Maine has had.
Yeah, and it has been one that comes on the heels of a really great final jam by Team Saskatchewan's Coleshaw, who is dynamite in a lot of ways, has been a big part of Team Saskatchewan Derby, whether it's on the team itself or just as the community itself back home. We know we got lots of people watching. I'm Death Nella, by the way.
And I'm Be Nimble, by the way. And speaking of people watching from home, Jumpy wants people to know that she is okay, maybe a sprained ankle, so you might not see her play in this second half, but she is okay.
Yeah, she went over to the bench with a smile on her face because, you know what, got to make the most of it, I suppose, and seemed to be in good spirits. And as we get underway, Saskatchewan looking to close that gap. Coleshaw out in front with lead as Melcree's already drawing back. Hard dash, and the star is in hand.
Saskatchewan might have dash now that they've locked down that inside line.
Looks like they were already making those adjustments towards the end of the first half. Coleshaw out with 4 points. Hard dash, star in hand. Star now possibly coming on the helmet.
Both on a scoring trip. Saskatchewan on their second scoring trip. Hard dash on the initial scoring trip. I don't think Hard dash is going to pick up any, and neither is Saskatchewan on that trip. So a 4-0 jam in favor of Saskatchewan. A nice momentum pickup for Team Sask from the get-go.
Yes, I knew where you were going with that. Yes, and just lots of comments on the stream. We appreciate you joining us, by the way. Twitch.com, New England Roller Derby, all put on by Chad Newt, who is sitting to our left. Thank you, Chad, for all you do. He's back in his big chair, if you'll have it, and New Jersey Knight hopping on the camera. Thank you.
Yes, and we've been on double duty quite a bit. It's been so much fun. We've gotten to run the cameras, gotten to do broadcast, venue announcing. Roller Derby is so DIY. The community is so special.
Yes, by the skater, for the skater, and the rest. And wow, Head of Flame, unable to get lead this time.
Yeah, for the first time not able to pick up lead. About a quarter of a track behind the Saskatchewan jammer.
Yeah, that's Joe Means Joe, who, able to get by the hips now. Was it fast enough? Oh, that was an unfortunate set of circumstances there as Grampus, the jammer ref, actually took a tumble right as Joe Means Joe was hoping to call it.
Yeah, that really was a series of unfortunate events. Isn't that like a book series?
Yes, it is, yeah.
It would be like first...
Yeah, the first chapter.
Right.
Okay, so Saskatchewan ends up grabbing 1 point. Of course, now that jammer ref didn't see, so conferring with the OPRs, which makes sense, the outside pack refs. So Maine actually won that jam, I believe, by 2 points.
Yeah, it's hard to see. Sometimes there's a little bit of a lag on our scoreboard here, but right now it's showing 105 for Maine, 79 Saskatchewan. Hits and giggles jamming for Team Maine. Raina Terra jamming for Team Sask.
Ooh, Raina Terra does not let anything phase her. I mean, that is a little bit of youthful blizz, that's for sure. Look at that stretched out pack. And that certainly gives Giggles the benefit as she's out with lead. Raina able to hop on the inside on those toe stops.
And meowing them down, playing quarterback for Team Maine in that, saying, you guys go, get to the front. I'm fast enough. I can get back with you.
Yeah, and I think Team Saskatchewan was kind of lacking that on their line, but Giggles able to get it. Oh, and that clapping is Chad, so I know which team he supports.
Well,
shocker.
That's his jammer.
Oh, that's his jammer.
Yeah, he coaches Hits and Giggles.
He's so excited.
All right, here we go. So that was another quick 4 for Maine. It's been 2 leads for Saskatchewan, 1 for Maine, right? We're going into Jam 4.
I was just laughing, B, because Chad had hit some buttons and had to delete a bunch before hitting send on the comment box. All right, and we've got Hard Dash out with lead. That seems to be something we were saying quite a bit this bout. It is Skidlet out there, though, with the Prairie Lily, getting some offensive help by Melcree. Not quite enough, though, as Hard Dash already coming to collect points, including Melcree's points.
But a nice little shark bite. That's what we call that move by that Saskatchewan offensive blocker, number 22.
Yeah, that shell on earth who has actually grabbed MVP in the last bout that the team played because of her phenomenal efforts out there. She's one of those silent but deadly blockers.
Hard dash on her second scoring trip here. The helmet cover has been removed.
Yeah, it's been by Skidlet and passed to Nikki Fury, who is most notably a jammer. Now, Nikki, this has been a tremendous experience for her this weekend, coming back in after having some pretty substantial surgery done to her ankle.
Well, you know, once you get the derby bug, it's very hard to quit, even facing really bad injuries. So I'm glad that that the motivation was there and back at Battle of the All-Stars.
Yeah, we're very glad to have Nikki back. She's one of the few skaters who've been here all 3 years that Team Sask has skated.
Who does Nikki Fury skate with for the WFTDA?
She doesn't. So there are only right now 2 WFTDA teams in Saskatchewan, most notably the one from Saskatchewan Roller Derby League, the Mind Fox, and also Pile of Bones Derby. They have also picked up some WFTDA status. Pile of Bones is a derby league out of Regina, and that's because the original name for the city of Regina was Pile of Bones.
Really?
Yeah, for the buffalo that was.
I love
the
stuff
buffalo
like
run,
that.
yes, and so the bones that were there, and so that's how that happened. So here we go. We go into jam number 5 already of the second half.
Number 15 with a big hit on Head of Flame on the outside, which allows enough time for Coleshaw to get out and secure lead.
There we go. Scott Free finding her groove, knocking Head of Flame to the inside as Coleshaw now in scoring range, but the pack is moving just fast enough that it's not quite as fast for Coleshaw. Able to pick up her points through Head of Flame as well, though. And a good time to call it. Coleshaw unable to get momentum right now to get her multi-scoring trips through the packs, which makes sense. Maine is prepared for that.
Yeah, it's interesting because I mentioned this earlier, but I was on camera for the Louisiana Sask game, and I heard Louisiana's bench saying, like, the one thing we need to do is stop Coleshaw, the one thing we need to do. And, of course, that bout ended with just
so close.
So close.
So close.
So we could have been playing Louisiana here, but I'm glad to find this Maine Saskatchewan connection.
And some interesting defensive decisions there coming up against Hits and Giggles. The Saskatchewan line was actually separated 2 and 2. Lady Luck and Rip being the ones trying to block Giggles. A power jam has been called, it seems, as
a lot of whistles blowing. We're going to try and...
No, doesn't appear that there's a power jam situation. I was seeing the hands. Oh, it's a power jam for Team Saskatchewan. Instead, as Hits and Giggles sent to the penalty box, having a little, it was a forearm call. Thanks, B.
You're welcome. So, on a forearm call. This is what Saskatchewan needs right now. They have their, Joe Means Joe has been really incredible for them all weekend.
They will need to provide a bit of Hits and Giggles now standing, so 10 seconds left on that jammer penalty. No need to panic, though, blockers. You are now far, far away from that penalty box. So Hits and Giggles still has to travel an entire half lap to get there. Joe Means Joe out with 4 points. Of course, this jam running to its natural conclusion as there's no lead anymore.
Meow playing a sweet offensive assist for Hits and Giggles. This blocking squad, for Team Maine is a very nimble one.
No. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, so the jam was whistled down because Joe was tapping her hips while also asking, do I have lead? So no, she didn't. No one had lead in that moment. So we'll see what happens. But they did blow it dead there.
It'll probably be, it's going to be an illegal procedure penalty that will go to the Saskatchewan captain.
And that would be Malkery. So, I mean, hey, that's something that happens.
Nope, it's going to go to the jammer, I guess.
That would, very interesting. Okay. So Joe Means Joe will take a seat in the penalty box. That, by the way, the total is 120-92, Maine leading Saskatchewan with 21 minutes, 46 seconds left.
Yeah, and I do apologize if I saw the incorrect hand signals. I'm not sure. I'm not going to speak out of turn here with what actually happened there.
And a smart call to use a timeout by Team Saskatchewan. They had all 3 still banked. So this is plenty of clock stoppages left. They still have an OR. You get an official review, 1 per half. That, of course, you can retain if you win it. So good decision. Slow things down. It's unfortunate when something like that happens because it's not like Jo has never played derby in her life. So I think even that's why she was asking, do I have lead? But you're tapping your hips, you're signaling. And so unfortunately, that's how that works out.
Right. So, and you know, these teams, both of these teams have played 4 games. This is their 4th game, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes a little bit of brain fatigue sets in, and you kind of rely on your body to do what it normally does.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
and
call a jam.
We have some people asking if it was a ref error. Even so, I do believe that because you were the one who initiated the action that led to the error, you know, it's a bit of A and B, and so really the penalty does have to be assessed, as Saskatchewan did gain an advantage by calling off the jam, of course.
Right, and, you know, no matter what happens, what's going to happen right now is Team Maine is going to start on a power start with Hard Dash, of course,
and
taking
just
the
very
inside.
quickly, yeah, that was, I got to say, a gorgeous sweep by Maine to clear that lane. Wow, we've got a really solid Sask blocking line here, but Tammy Gunn, she's going to get involved. It's going to split him up, and scot-free, though, handling it. Unable to run back too far, and now getting goaded. Oh, and Heaven's Rejects. Just a little too much space on that inside line.
Scot-free has been a phenomenal blocking force for Team Saskatchewan.
And I'm sure all of her junior skaters that she coaches certainly feels the same. Scot-free as well is a player skater for Team Saskatchewan. Venus taking a trip to the penalty box on a direction of play call, as Jo Means Jo is now in, looking for that initial pass.
This is Maine's 6th game. I've called all of them, so
very nice.
Again, that brain fart situation has happened when I said 4. Thanks, Rosie.
That's okay. There's a lot of derby, and it's all in the same building. Do we even know what day it is? Oh, yeah, Saturday, day 3 of Battle of the All-Stars from Hatfield, Pennsylvania. We've got Jo Means Jo in scoring position, of course.
Yeah.
Got to do the strategy there. Maine calling it off, a really big jam for Hard Dash.
And just to mention, right, things are getting elevated here in Hatfield. We have a big game coming up next.
Huge.
Team Florida versus Team New York, and Team Florida upsetting Team Texas yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yes, it was. I know. It all blends together.
It all blends together.
It is New York's first time out here at BOTAS because they get a 2-day. They get to skip the first 2 days. Of course, we've seen many New York skaters out there watching other teams, supporting the derby community. Reina Terror with a big smile on her face, picking up a lead, and quickly. That's what Sask needs, not only to get lead, but to do it fast, because time is definitely needs to be on our side in a way.
Yeah, and again, we talked about this a little bit earlier, Nella, but the multiple scoring passes. Head of Flame just a half a track behind Reign of Terror, and that's not going to do it for Saskatchewan. They need multiple passes right now.
And they also need to stick together. Their blockers getting all busted up. Their Head of Flame cooling down, coming off to the bench.
Cooling down, Head of Flame cooling down.
That was a happy coincidence. Oh, you know what we never got to, and I won't then spend too much time on it, but at the half, going a little bit back, the penalties, I got to say, very well cleaned up team-wise for Team Sask. Only 9 team penalties in that first half. 11 for Team Maine. Tammy Gunn was the only skater in trouble at the time with 5 penalties. So we'll keep an eye on that, see how things go. An interesting formation as Skidlet appears to be some kind of little tail at the back end of that 3-wall. And Nikki Fury with the Prairie Lily for the first time to start the jam and grab lead. Coming up against Hits and Giggles. Have we found a new matchup? Possibly.
Maybe. Hits and Giggles absorbs a hard hit by Shell on Earth.
Oh my gosh, I can't get over what a great blocker Skidlet is. Phenomenal jammer, but her one-on-one blocking is next level as well. Getting recycled back right as Giggles is in scoring position, and Nikki Fury calls it. Smart play, gets another 1 point, or just... No, that will be 2 points because there is a blocker in the penalty box there.
We have about 18 minutes left in the second half of this matchup between Maine and Saskatchewan. Maine at 136, Saskatchewan at 98. Really still anybody's game. Momentum has come and gone, but for the most part has been in Maine's favor.
Yeah, getting lots of love for Skid as an unreal blocker. Yes, I can attest. I have been in practice with her many times. I've been in scrim with her many times. It's a little deadly, and so is Cole Shaw grabbing lead, but my gosh, Hard Dash right behind. So this matchup is one of my favorites. The pack speeding up like crazy. What is this?
Off to the races. Tammy Gunn just lifting a leg to keep the momentum forward. Both teams just going. It looks like they're going to try and clear the box.
And I mean, it's working. Hard Dash, though, taking a bit of a spill. So Coleshaw out first, but Hard Dash will likely get all those points, too.
And Dottie Danger returning to the pack with a big hit.
Yeah, that is a high block penalty assessed. I'm not sure why Shell on Earth is going to the penalty box. May have.
No, I think that was the
high
block.
Oh, that was on. So my apologies. I thought that was on the Maine skater. As Nemesis is released from the penalty box, so the Team Sask pivot is out there.
And Team Sask has found a little bit of an answer to the dash problem. Saskatchewan is outscoring Maine right now by 4 points.
So not
this jam.
Yeah, in this jam. Yeah, not too much. But Coleshaw, though, keeping steady. Maine losing their pivot to the penalty box.
And just as I say that, Dash does a very nice and easy little leap over the apex to score 4 more points, 12-12 so far.
We're getting lots of love for Kirby. There is a low block penalty assessed
to Velocity Raptor.
Oh, and I'm not sure what's happening here. Oh, is there a penalty being called on Coleshaw?
Apparently there is. So it is a power jam for Maine and Hard Dash. It appears, if I look at the jam clock, there's only about 10 seconds left. So I think Coleshaw will stay in the box, and Maine will get a power start from this.
Yeah, she did fall small, but I guess Jam Ref didn't feel it was enough there.
So much was happening just then. It was hard to follow who was getting what penalty, which again, let's just shout it out for the NSOs, all of the officials really, who figure it all out when we can't.
Hey, look at that. After all that hard work, 15 apiece. So a net wash on that one, but still very impressive. Super fun to watch games like that. Like, you got to give a shout out to all the people in the crowd. The crowd is packed up in inline 309 here. So 151 to Maine, 113 Saskatchewan, with just over a quarter left, and head of flame with the star for Maine. Coleshaw standing, but this tripod of Dame Tamer and Candy Stroy and Melcree. Oh, but that head of flame just too good on those toe stops.
Yes, so lead does go to Maine and head of flame as Coleshaw returns, is recycled. Crumb with a hard hit on the outside to Coleshaw.
And it looks like there's a multiplayer call. Head of flame thought it was for her, but it's not. Back into it. Oh, Coleshaw able to stay on the outside.
I think that what happened was Head of Flame's wrist guard sort of came undone, and I heard her say, "I'm taking myself off," because I think she didn't want to get any legal procedure for malfunction of equipment.
Everything's happening so quickly. We appreciate all the eagle-eyed viewers on the Twitch stream.
Oh, Evil. Hi, Evil. Evil loves Hedda. Both of these teams packed their bags with realness today, says Lightning Slim.
Yes, I did. And you know what? I haven't even shared enough of the love that Team Sask has been getting. Lots of people very impressed by their energy and effort. And I got to say, same thing. Just like many state teams, everyone has to travel really far in Saskatchewan. Any practice that you have, there's always multiple skaters traveling 6 to 8 hours one way just to make it to a practice. So dedication to everyone here who was at BOTAS.
Absolutely, and this is a 3-wall of Dottie Danger, Beth Saltz, and meowing them down.
Oh, just getting by Rip. Lady Luck and Holly Double Thumper trying to hold down a line here for Team Sask, but it's going to be Raina getting bumped around there a little bit like a pinball, and whoa!
Meowing them down, we were just talking about Skidlet being an amazing blocker as well as Jammer, and Meowing them down is a ferocious blocker as well as Jammer.
I know, and Hits and Giggles impresses. I mean, everyone here has been impressing me, but Giggles especially, the focus, the control. How is she not jamming the entire weekend?
So I went over to her at halftime and I said, way to make them question that, you know? Because
and I'm not even putting that out there on anyone. I'm just like, you look like you've been jamming for 6 games. You're that focused and controlled. So a really great effort, I guess, in her jamming BOTAS debut.
So that's an 8-0 jam in favor of Maine, 163 to 113. Dottie Danger is sitting in the penalty box and being visited by our guest coach, Bullet.
Okay, very nice.
Yes.
Nice that you have a guest coach.
One guest coach. Team Maine is also coached by Bob Aruski, Otter Mayhem, and Stylizer. I see all of them over there.
And by the way, this is a Saskatchewan team timeout, and we do appreciate everybody on the twitch.com/nerdderby feed. This is amazing that we can bring you not only free high level derby, but it's streamed so beautifully. So if you like it, I'm going to give a big plug to New England Roller Derby. They have a Patreon account. Please go and
please
support.
It's great. Chad gave me my start in this, and I'm so
Chad
thankful.
gave me my start in this.
We both have the same start. That's exciting.
The Chad.
And Chad just did put up on the stream the ways that you can contribute to the GoFund. It's not a GoFundMe. It's thanks.
Patreon. That's how you say it. We've got Nikki Fury with the Prairie Lily for Team Sask. Okay, so that's the decision that was made after that team timeout. Nikki Fury, as I said, hasn't a bit of basically fresh legs out there for Team Sask right now, which I think they need. Both these teams having already played a game today, although this is their first full 60. Oh, scot-free, unable to close that line.
Crumb. Wow. That was really pretty for Crumb as the jammer. Crumb, of course, comes to Maine from Boston, but chose to play with Team Maine, and we are so thankful.
Very, very cool. So many great stories like that here at BOTAS. And Nikki Fury is denied, unfortunately.
Well, Team Maine did not, of course, we talked a little bit about this, did not field a team last year, but Hedda Flame and Hard Dash both played with Team Mass. So we have a really good relationship. We support each other all the way.
And when I was talking with Team Sask before the weekend got underway, and I said, oh, so who's returning? Or, sorry, who's new? They said, you know, it's probably easier to tell you who's returning, like who's a veteran. So lots of new, fresh Team Saskatchewan talent, but that is only going to get better, and the experiences like these can't be overstated enough how impressive it is and amazing it is to have that. Amelkri, though, assessed a forearm call and sent to the penalty box.
Had a Flame being given the business on the outside by a pair of Saskatchewan blockers.
Joe Means Joe doing what Coleshaw did earlier, using one of her blockers as like a push off there, and that blocker being Dame Tamer. Those two are just like, you can't really ever separate them. They're always a pair. Joe Means Joe and Dame Tamer, a great pivot jammer combo.
Stunflower did take the star, the helmet cover from Head of Flame, is not able to pick up any points. Saskatchewan able to pick up 3. Ooh, a lot of 1s, a lot of 6s on the scoreboard. We have just under 11 minutes left in this period and this bout. We have Maine 166, Saskatchewan 116. This is the 15th place game.
It sure is, and that's a 50-point difference. Wow. So 10 minutes, definitely not insurmountable. We saw a massive 22-point jam from Joe Means Joe earlier. Right now, it's Coleshaw on the line for Team Sask, who knows how to fight, but hits and giggles. Okay, takes a bit of a spill there off of Rip's hips. So Coleshaw does have time to grab lead, but Giggles has been really effective at closing that gap and not allowing Coleshaw to do multi-scoring trips.
Right. So Saskatchewan has had a couple of leads here, but not able to pick up the sort of passes that they need to get back in this
not
right now.
Not able to thread it together, although Melkry trying to do a good job of drawing a cut there on Giggles as Coleshaw now, second trip through the pack, and it looks like, as always, Canada gets a lot of love here, and makes me feel good. Lots of love from the crowd.
I feel like roller derby loves Canada, and Canada loves roller derby.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It was so much fun in Montreal in the fall.
Sure was, and a lot of these skaters went to watch all of that great champs action. But 4 on the board already for Hits and Giggles, bringing it to 8. Coleshaw calls it. So there will be a jam win in terms of points for Team Sask, but maybe not as much as they would have liked compared to Maine. It's a 12-point effort, bringing Saskatchewan to 128, Maine still in the lead, 174, 9 minutes, 15 seconds left in the first.
I do know that some people after this bout are taking a picture. They're taking a picture of people who've been here all 8 years.
Yes, they are. The big commemorative photo.
Yeah,
which is
and
amazing.
that's not me. I wish desperately that
we'll
that I
just
had
be
been
hanging
here.
in the back. We'll be lurking in the back. All right, Raina Terror with the Prairie Lily for Team Sask. T-Rex out there for Maine. I don't think we've seen T-Rex this bout, have we?
Not this bout, not jamming this bout. She has been a ferocious blocker, but now taking the star. T-Rex is also just so people know, a power lifter. And
whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm here for it. Raina Terra able to get by on the outside, picks up lead. Great effort by T-Rex, though, getting by now scot-free. So Raina maybe has one scoring trip through the pack in her, but who knows? Oh, that inside line was ripe for her to apex jump, but not quite.
She shakes her head. Yes, it is a back block call on Raina Terror.
Block call, so a power jam. That will take this one the full 2 minutes, which is not what Team Sask wants, because right now they need time. They need time to make up that point differential.
And there will be, did you just say this? There will be no lead jammer because it was Raina Terror who has sat down in the pencil box. So we still have a minute left in jam 16.
And now Nicole scot-free is being sent off to the penalty box. So pack advantage to Team Maine.
And Rex is appearing to be tired. I don't know if she's faking it or if it's real, but all she needs to do is keep it clean, keep it moving forward a little bit. I talked to Rex a lot about that. Sometimes it's crazy to be a jammer because your only goal is to not go backward. You know, like if you're getting inches forward, then you're making progress.
Although there's always that beautiful drawback reset that can re-energize a jammer,
That's
even
true.
though that's not what you want.
No, you're right. You're right.
And Pterodactyl, the Saskatchewan pivot, now reporting to the penalty box. So Team Maine not only with pack advantage, but also seem to be able to get Rex out. Yeah, there we go. That's 4 on the board for Rex.
Team Maine is going to be content to trade points here in the closing 7 minutes.
Yeah, you're in a cushy position. Raina able to get through. Picks up 4 points. So that's got to feel good. At least you managed to score despite incurring that penalty there. And a timeout has been called by Team an official review, rather, has been called by Team Saskatchewan. I was going to say it might not be wise to use up a final clock stoppage if they're hoping to maybe get one more jam, but we'll see.
We'll see. Maybe they feel really confident in what they're going to call. I'm not sure. But what I do know is that we all here at Battle of the All-Stars 2020 want to give a big shout-out to our hosts, Bucksmont Roller Derby Dolls. They put on a fantastic event year after year. It's a challenging event to put together. So many teams, so many bouts.
So impressed. I'm so impressed. And you know what? They're getting love all over the internet. If you're not connected to #Derby Twitter on Twitter, like if you have a Twitter account, you've got to get in on that. It's just fun.
It's so fun.
It's fun. It's like the most bizarre little things that happen. And it's like, oh, look at that. Chad Newt is already checking out what's happening, and we're appreciating your comments, loving the chat, because what's great about this is that you have questions for one another. You're answering it. You don't even need Be Nimble or myself, Death Nella, to say anything, because you got to figure it out. Got a good little online community to bounce things off of.
Yeah, and it does make it easier for us because we can't see everything either, and sometimes at home you're paying attention to things that we can't necessarily see due to, a referee being in the way or something. And of course they deserve to be in the way. They need to make those calls more than we
sure do. It's very impressive. And a big shout out to all of the officials who make the trip, because the one thing about Battle of the All-Stars, it's wonderful. It's tons of derby, but it's a lot of derby. It's 4 days. It is a big commitment to be here, to give up that time, or not give it up, to spend that time.
Right, take it off of work, traveling, if you have
appreciate
kids.
it. And guess what? Everyone travels to Battle of the All-Stars. Well, yeah, I mean, really the home team.
Even really the home team, which speaking of the home team, the final bout of today is going to be Pennsylvania, Massachusetts.
Oh my gosh.
That is like a rivalry to match all rivalries. They've played, whether it's Philly versus Boston or Massachusetts versus Pennsylvania. It's going to be a really good bout, and that's the final one for today.
All right, so Beenam, I'm just going to take a listen here.
Super impressed with Sask this year. I've been super impressed with them at Battle of the All-Stars myself. Maine, we're going to find out right now what the verdict, I suppose, is for this official review. The the official review signal is still up in the air, but I'm assuming we're going to get a rolling whistle. What did you find out?
So Team Saskatchewan, spoiler alert, did not win that one.
Okay.
They were looking for actually a very similar request from the last time, which is to get the opposing jammer sent to the penalty box based on 2 hands being down on the ground, but it just apparently that action didn't happen in that way.
Wait, they called the same official review as in the first half?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, looking for the same thing, but it didn't pan out quite the way they wanted to. So a loss of an official review, but hey, also a timeout, really. Able to rest those skaters just a little bit longer.
Derby Apex wants to know if I tried to guess what this OR was. I did not this one, but I did guess the earlier one, and
she
I got
guessed
it
correctly, which is very impressive. Oh, and Head of Flame able to pick up lead jammer status, getting by Skidlet.
On Skidlet, no less.
And Nikki Fury once again out with the Prairie Lily. So it looks like Nikki is going to get some more jams under her belt. Not actual belt like old school Derby, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
And Skidlet drawing back Head of Flame.
Head of Flame, a super smart and veteran player, knows that she doesn't need to rush right now. She can kind of take her time and navigate the pack. Because Maine controls the clock with a lead of about 45
Yeah,
points.
and that lead is becoming more and more solid as that clock winds down. We're just under 6 minutes left on that game clock. Maine 181, Saskatchewan 132. Maine in black, Saskatchewan in white.
Do you think Saskatchewan is having fun?
Oh, yes. I
Okay.
know they're having
Good,
fun. I know
'cause
they're
I can
having
tell.
a blast. Yeah. That's the thing, too, is like sometimes when you're introducing the sport to people, I know I've been tweeting about it, and people who are not familiar with Derby have been clicking in on the stream and enjoying it. But they'll go, oh, but you guys lost. I'm like, oh, but you don't know how much we won, though.
Yeah.
You don't understand how much we're gaining. You don't understand in Jam 15 we had this killer run. And, like, those are the things that you have to take from it.
Right, and not to mention, thankfully, we have Low Life Skate Shop that has sponsored this live feed for Chad and Nerd Derby. And
Sociopath, the production sponsor,
Right.
which is huge.
And we need that, from our community because it's so incredible, and it helps all of the younger skaters to be able to watch these bouts of the more experienced skaters, learn strategies, have someone to aspire to be. It's so important. The visibility of roller derby just can't be underestimated.
And the visibility of phenomenal dancing. I don't know, Chad, if you can get this on the stream right now, but there's some great flossing happening. Because why not?
Of course, why not?
And also, speaking of just finding inspiration, that goes for no matter what age you are, no matter what skill level you are.
That's true.
We've been getting so much love, Team Sask, and I know it makes all the skaters feel good. It certainly even makes me as the announcer feel good to see people saying, I'm so impressed with Saskatchewan's performance. And every single one of our skaters can take that and run with it and go to whichever league that they're from. And we've got leagues. We've got Prince Albert covered. We have Saskatoon, Weyburn, Southwest Sask, Swift Current, all of those great places. Regina, of course, the capital. 1 second.
Okay, take the information from our. We are lucky enough to have an official that goes back and forth whenever big officiating decisions are made, like official reviews or anything else that might be important. What did you find out?
I found out that Maine was looking for blocking out a bounds call on the white jammer from the last jam, but that was not seen and definitely not retained in this one. So now Maine has still 2 team timeouts left, 5 minutes, 30 seconds on the game clock as that whistle blows to start jam 18. Saskatchewan as well with 1 team timeout, and Joe grabs the lead, but Dame Tamer is sent to the penalty box.
And Hits and Giggles jamming for Maine again.
That was a sneaky one there by Rip, and Lady Luck as well, helping deliver that blocking assist.
And Joe Means Joe up against a wall of T-Rex, Boudica, Beth Saltz, and meowing them down. That's not a fun experience for anyone.
And not getting any help because, of course, her blockers are busy trying to keep back Hits and Giggles, who has just been released on her initial. Okay, so Joe is now assessing what's happening as she's getting stuck up on that. Oh, and she decides to call it. I'm not sure how many hips Joe managed to pass. It looks like 2, so a great effort there.
Yes, Saskatchewan not not laying down, right? Like they continue to get lead, they continue to chip away and score points. With 4.5 minutes left, it's not impossible.
It's not impossible. It is not looking great for my side here, but we also want to just remind everyone this is a full-length game. Someone was asking, so 30-minute halves. We are now in 60-minute play. In fact, that started with the bout before this. Coleshaw with the Prairie Lily on for Team Sask.
Velocity Raptor jamming for the first time in this bout for Team Maine.
Getting some love for Meow as a blocker, and that's certainly true. Coleshaw out with the lead, whistles blowing, and a track cut call. A power jam now for Team Saskatchewan.
And just like that, Coleshaw is through on the first scoring trip for Sask.
Gets by, I believe that's Dottie Danger. Sure is.
That is Dottie Danger.
Gets by Dottie Danger. Sask now looking for an offensive assist, and Scott Free kind of getting in the way there, but not quite. And there was a trip caused by Dottie Danger, and that is going to send her to the penalty box.
It was hard to tell it. Yeah, it was hard to tell sort of the impact.
Yeah, and then 4 points there for Coleshaw as Velocity Raptor is standing with star in hand.
8 points, 12 now, up for Saskatchewan and Coleshaw.
So Velocity Raptor, okay, there has been a very successful star pass, able to do so right over Holly Double Thumper, but now T-Rex is the pivot with a star and unable to really capitalize on that as Coleshaw already picks up another. Whoa, we've got 16 points already on the board by Coleshaw.
This is the kind of thing that needs to happen for them to get back in it, and it is not over with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. 20 points so far this jam. There are still about 30 seconds left.
We're getting lots of love for Coleshaw, and you can't understate. I always keep saying understate, overstate how incredible it is that she can come in at these crunch times, meanwhile losing blocker scot-free to the penalty box. Coleshaw, 24 points, already matched her best effort from day one. Going to double it, did she? Is she inbound? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she landed it or not. We'll have to look to the officials.
Oh, and there was a track cut being called to T-Rex, so it's going to be a power start. Oh, Crumb, my apologies. Sorry, Crumb. So that will be a power start for Team Saskatchewan. Massive, massive jam from Coleshaw. 24 points. Maine, 181. Saskatchewan, 158. Both teams have timeouts, so there could be another jam if that plays out. We have a minute 45. Yeah, there's a timeout being called by Team Maine. Smart decision.
And unfortunately, right, like if I was coaching Team Maine right now, I would say all we need to do is get lead. We just need to get lead so we can run the clock down.
That's it.
But they can't get lead because their jammer is going to start in the box. So it's a power start.
No, you never know. They might get lead.
You're right.
They might. I was like, don't jinx it.
And maybe Bullet is visiting Crumb in there, probably saying the same thing. Like, you could still get lead if our blockers can do a phenomenal job.
We are getting everyone fired up in cold Saskatchewan right now. Prairie Fire, y'all, definitely. That's Lightning Slim. Tara, you got this. Go, Tara. You can get lead from the box. Yes, that is the case many times. So what happens is you don't necessarily lose eligibility because as soon as you get out, as long as you've got the star still on your head, it's great. It's easy. You can get back in there, and if you're the first out, passing everybody properly, legally inbounds, you can still get it. So, but yeah, your chances are supposed to be. Oh, I see why they're giving props to Tara. Tara with the star. Wow, she has not jammed for Team Sask. She's been out there as a pivot blocker, like she's jammed as a pivot. But Tara, what a great way to wind things down, to try something new.
Yeah.
See how that plays out. Maine jumping ahead. But everyone's starting on the pivot line, and it's just one solid wall, though, of blockers.
And that really is what Battle of the All-Stars is all about, trying new things.
Oh, and a track cut called on Terror. That was some sneaky work. I believe that was by Meow, actually.
Crumb is, of course, released from the penalty box now for Maine. And you are so right. I'm so glad.
Still has lead eligibility. That's correct. So we could see things switch really quickly. But no, looks like Maine's going to run it. Makes sense. So just a minute and 4 seconds on the game clock. Minute 18 on the jam clock, though. So Maine could run this and take it to finish the game. We'll see how everything plays out. Oh, Skidlet slowing down Crum, but Crum is out.
Crum is indeed out and has 4 points on the jam for Maine. 59 seconds left in the jam, 40 seconds left in the period. It appears that Maine will take this. One thing I wanted to say, I'm sorry, I'm not going to say it now because that was a nice...
Look at this one-on-one effort here by Captain Mulkery, and but it will be an out-of-play call because she took it right to the wire. She's like, you know what, worth it. You can see that look on her face. End of the game. And wow, what an effort here by Team Maine to pull things together.
But what an effort by Team Sask as well. That 24-point jam by Colshaw.
And we'll see how things land here. I just saw Crum take a knee. I wasn't sure if someone had possibly ended. Okay. No, there's a timeout.
I didn't see if there was any clock left because, of course, a timeout could stop the clock and allow for maybe one more jam. But I see an unofficial score on the board.
Yes.
191 to 158. We'll have to find out.
And we see people here. Way to go, Maine. Nice try, Saskatchewan. That's right. It's not only a try. It was an incredible effort by Team Saskatchewan. They're lining up out on the track again, Team Saskatchewan, like as in a blocking line. So I think we've got one more jam, everybody.
That's exciting.
Yes,
that
bonus jam, bonus derby.
One other bonus that we'll have for you after.
Yeah, we didn't even get to that.
Yeah, after this is we are going to have some interviews with the MVPs. So we'll choose somebody from Team Maine and somebody from Team Saskatchewan as MVP, and then we'll talk to them a little bit.
And feel free to start getting in your shout-outs right now on the Twitch
Who you
stream.
think?
Who you think? I mean, it may or may not play any.
Right.
We also will not choose an MVP who's already been named in a previous bout. So if one of your favorites has already been selected, that might be why. One more jam. We're going for it. Yes, 2 seconds, be nimble. 2 seconds on the game clock. Smart move there by Team. That was interesting.
Good coaching.
Very interesting. All right, we're going to do this. One last jam. Yay to more derby. And it's Joe Means Joe taking on Hits and Giggles. Joe Means Joe getting tripped up, but she's the one right in the front of the pack. And a no earned pass, so no lead to Saskatchewan. So Hits and Giggles will be given lead. We'll have control of the game. And we'll call it.
Wow. So what a nice effort on that final jam. Joe Means Joe does get out first, but passes an out-of-play blocker to get out first, so no lead.
These final jam moments are making me all sweaty up in here.
Maine takes the win here for the 15th place position at Battle of the All-Stars 2020. We are going to go talk to our other announcer cohorts.
Yes, we are.
We're going to talk about MVPs, and then we're going to be back with interviews.
Yeah, give us like 5 minutes or so. We will need to make sure that the skaters are able to come over and chat with us and just let it all sink in. What an amazing final game for both these teams.
Yeah, thanks so much for hanging with us online. We will be right back with your MVPs. I'm here with Hits and Giggles of Team Maine, who is the MVP for the last game that Maine just played. I'm curious, you came in with fresh legs here. What did you think when they said, and you're gonna jam for the first time really in the rotation solidly.
I had a whole morning to prepare. I got in the mindset, and I just went for it. Just swung it.
You did so incredibly well, getting lead countless times, lots of points. I did notice, so you had a little bit of a funny snack that you were eating earlier. Will you tell us what your power snack is?
Cashew butter and chocolatey, salty granola.
Well, congratulations to you and Team Maine. Of course, I also play for Team Maine, so this is a lovely pairing. So proud of you. Congratulations.
Proud of you
well
too.
done. Thank you.
Yeah, Maine.
Welcome back. I am joined by your Saskatchewan MVP, Nicole Scott-Free. Scott-Free, what a great way to round off your BOTAS experience. You're also the player coach for Team Sask. So I know that you've had one heck of an experience with this season, and this really closes things out, but how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling very proud of my skaters, and yeah, we've come together and we've kept every game fairly close, so you couldn't ask for better skaters than that, and sticking together, and we have a lot of fun off the track as well, so it's a great group and I'm so proud to be a part of it.
I know from fellow announcers, just other people in the venue, they all say that Saskatchewan brings a lot of fun as well to the track, so that's always really great. Phenomenal feedback. So now what do you do when you take this experience all in? I know that this is so new and fresh to you, but you take it all in and now we're going to go back home and we're all going to separate and go to our leagues in all different corners of the province. What now?
We just start thinking next year. You know, we start looking at who's returning, who's leaving us, who we look to recruit for next year, things like that, how we're going to keep growing. Each year we've gotten better. This is our third year here. Hopefully we're back for a fourth next year and we keep improving.
And I always love to ask this, but what does it mean not only to represent Saskatchewan, but to also represent Canada when you come here?
Well, it's pretty special since we've been the only Canadian group here for the last 3 years. And everyone just loves Canada here so much, and we bring a little bit of Canada with us when we bring our goodie bags to our teams as well, with all of our treats and everything. But to be a part of, you know, roller derby in Canada and in Saskatchewan, it's huge. It's growing, and I just love the sport.
And guess what? You can come and check out where Nicole and I live in Regina, Saskatchewan this summer when JRDA World Cup comes to play. And you've also got juniors watching back home as well.
Yes, I do. I have the misdemeanors back home who will hopefully be returning to JRD champs again this year. But also I'm part of the Pile of Bones Derby Club, and we're hosting Junior Worlds in Regina, Saskatchewan. So we have got lots of organizing to do. I'm not one of the main committee for that, but I am helping out.
Okay, Scott, go and enjoy. Go celebrate. I know it's been a whirlwind of 3 days. You are watching the New England Roller Derby Report. That's Be Nimble, by the way, hopping in the back there. We'll be right back with an incredible game. New York taking on Florida.